G'day everyone, I'm biologist Luke Tipple and you're watching AT&T Uverse Buzz, where we take you behind the scenes of some of your favourite TV shows, as well as preview some of the great features and programming available on AT&T Uverse. It's September, that means it's time to go back to school. Today on Buzz, we're looking at some of the nature and educational programming available through National Geographic Wild. To help completely immerse ourselves in nature, we're here at Safari West in Sonoma County, California. They have over 80 species of exotic animals here, including cheetahs, zebras, and one of the largest giraffe herds in all of North America. Time now to learn more about this nature preserve. Can you tell me a little bit about the park, how it started?
93 we opened to the public, and it's been growing ever since.
So you officially are the guardian and owner of all these animals?
Yeah.
What inspired your passion for African animals?
You know, probably it goes back to my dad, who was a TV and film director, and he did an early show about a vet in Africa. And I'd go out and watch the shooting and watch the animals.
I heard a story about you taking lions on the bus.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah, you go from West LA on Sunset Boulevard, you get on the bus and go out to the beach.
How strange were the looks that you got doing that?
You know, it was a different era.
I do love it. I moved here because of this. I live next door.
So what did they say when you asked for a job?
Well, I didn't ask for a job, but I kind of created a hole in the fence, and I was just over here all the time. We have about 38 different species of animals and then a lot of different birds. There's over 700 animals and birds together here.
Do you really feel that you're
yes.
here in Africa?
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Everything kind of match for you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm driving these trucks and get to talk about the animals and tell about all of their habits to different people that are very interested in that, and particularly kids that come through that love wildlife.
So kids, what were your favourite things the last time you came here?
Zebras.
Get close to those guys?
Yeah.
So it's really a ranch-type atmosphere rather than a zoo-type atmosphere. They can react, they do all the things that normal animals do.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that I've talked to when they leave, they say this just exceeds my expectations here.
We just want to continue improving our product and doing what we do and making a better experience for our guests.
Safari West serves as a perfect backdrop as we dive into the shows of National Geographic Wild. The network focuses on natural history and wildlife programming. One show that's getting a lot of attention is Expedition Wild with Casey Anderson. The show is about Casey, a naturalist, and his best friend, a 900-pound grizzly bear named Brutus. We had to see it to believe it. We're here in Montana, just north of Yellowstone Park, with the host of Expedition Wild, Casey Anderson, and his bear, Brutus. Casey, that's quite an impressive animal you have, mate.
He is one magnificent boy, and he knows he is, too.
You literally live with Brutus.
Well, you know, most of the time, 90% of the time, Brutus is hanging out at the sanctuary, just being a bear with other bears, wrestling and playing. But just because of this relationship, he gets to do cool things like come hang out here at the house, go swim in the stream.
Sure. You told me before that Brutus is your best friend.
He was my best man at my wedding.
One of the most unique wedding albums of all time, right?
Definitely, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
So your show, Expedition Wild with Casey Anderson, is essentially about entertainment, but you're also educating people.
I think one of the first things that I know Brutus would love is a little shower. There you go. And just kind of, he'll sit in place and he may want a little drink. What a good boy.
Can you tell me about the challenges of making nature TV and working with a bear who may not sometimes want to play when the lights are on?
The key to success with that is Brutus is the boss. But every once in a while, we have a little bit of a mishap. Our jib operator has been working with Brutus for years. Brutus decided to grab on to the lens hood. Brutus had, you know, $120,000 camera in his mouth. And we ended up getting the camera back unharmed, but those are just part of the risk of filming with a grizzly bear.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with an up-close and personal look at some of the more exotic animals that make their home here on this safari. Plus, we'll profile some of the great programming available through Nat Geo Wild. AT&T Uverse Buzz will be right back. Welcome back to AT&T Uverse Buzz as we take an inside look at the wildlife programming available through Nat Geo Wild. Today, we're going back to school with a lesson in nature as we visit Safari West, a nature preserve in Sonoma County, California. Safari West was founded in 1991 and is one of only 6 private facilities in North America to be a member of the American Zoo and Aquarium Association. Our safari begins with a truck tour of the 400 acres of wildlife here in this park. Now the adventure begins. Let's go, Terry! A safari is defined as a journey or expedition for exploration, adventure or investigation. Safaris have become popular vacations to view and photograph wildlife in a natural setting. Is that a warthog?
No, it's a red river hawk.
He's cool.
This is the next best place there is to Africa as far as I'm concerned. If you're driving around Cape Buffalo, you're coming close enough that you don't turn off the engine. This one has just been born. Come here, little guy. When they put their head down like that, they can drown. I want to get up where the radios can hear us. We're way over, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're good.
Animal department, come in, animal department. Here at Safari West. We'll see everything from giraffe to zebras, and we have about 38 different species of antelope and hoofstock that we'll see. Buffalo, waterbuck, kudu, Grant gazelles, the rhinos, and then along with the lemurs and cheetahs and monkeys and all the birds.
One of the most impressive animals here at Safari West is the cheetah. Behind me is the cheetah cage, but coming up right now is a very rare and special opportunity to get right up close and personal with a cheetah and cheetah expert Leslie Thalman.
This is Tula, and she's one of our 9-year-old sisters we have at Safari West. They're both trained as ambassador cats, and they've been here since they were about 6 weeks old. They come out for photographs, and they come out for presentations and educational events that we have here at Safari West. Cheetah ambassadors are important because they represent the wildcats of Africa, which are the cheetahs in Africa, of course, are an endangered species today. And when people can see them up close and see how magnificent they are, then they have a greater appreciation of how important it is to support conservation today.
The cheetah is known for its speed. It's the fastest land animal, reaching speeds of up to 65 miles an hour. Cheetah paws have semi-retractable claws, giving extra grip for high-speed pursuits, and a large tail, measuring up to 33 inches, which acts as a rudder when steering. So what are the do's and don'ts of cheetah keeping and showing?
Never betray them, because they'll never forget that. Cheetahs are kind of big scaredy cats, really. They're not like a courageous lion or leopard. They're not the alpha predator, so they need to have an escape route, because where they evolved, of course, they have to watch out for other large predators.
The cheetah is a vulnerable species. They don't adapt to new environments well and are difficult to breed in captivity, with only a little more than 12,000 left in the wild. What are the major threats for this species? I mean, there's obviously a problem with poaching.
At one time, there was a lot of poaching because people wanted to have a cheetah skin coat, but today the biggest problem are with ranchers and farmers that perceive cheetahs as a threat to their livestock. So they trap and shoot them because they don't want to lose their livelihood. There are programs that are working to find ways for farmers to live around predators, and there's some other programs as well trying to improve the habitat for the cheetah and create safe havens for them.
Getting this close to an animal this impressive is definitely a thrill for me. What do you think about that, huh? I think she likes the camera.
I think she does too.
These cheetahs may be the king of speed, but the official king of the cat family is the lion. They can get up to a quarter ton, and with giant manes to intimidate, the lion is one of the most feared predators on the planet. Now on Nat Geo Wild, you can get an unparalleled insight into the world of the lion with the Lion Ranger with behaviourist Kevin Richardson.
Ever get the feeling you've been surrounded by lions? I get it every day.
And when lions meet, they clash.
I would hate nothing more than to see this place go and the animals in it. It's my life and soul.
Check this out, guys. These are the Watusi cattle, originally raised by the Egyptian pharaohs about 4,000 to 6,000 years ago. They're known as the African cattle. They're also well known for their remarkably large horns. In fact, those horns can get up to 10 feet. The horns do serve a purpose. They're honeycombed with blood vessels, and they're used for thermoregulation. Blood moving through the horns is cooled by moving air and then flows back into the body and lowers the animal's body temperature. These Watusis have a herd mentality. They can be fairly shy, but if I were to approach too quickly, too aggressively, it's very likely that they would actually charge and act defensively. And see, right now, they're not too bothered by the car. They seem to actually be quite okay. They're letting their calves be right next to us. That's actually fairly unusual. If they felt there was a threat, they would actually herd around their calves and try to protect them. What we would see is horns just pointing outwards all around in a ring around the calves. But right now, as you can see, they're quite content as long as we stay on the vehicle. They can adapt very well to little food and scarce water, which has allowed the species to survive for centuries in Africa. There's more thrills and adventure ahead. AT&T Uverse Buzz will be right back with more safari action right after this. G'day everyone, I'm Luke Tipple. September is back to school time, and today we're getting an education right here on AT&T Uverse Buzz as we learn through the programming of Nat Geo Wild. It's channel 266 and available on your U200 package. And now, to help understand our wild world of nature, our educational tour through Safari West continues. This is an African white rhino. Aisha here is a female. Her and Mufasa are a breeding pair and the first for Safari West. About 16 months ago was the last time they were seen actually breeding, and that just happens to be the gestation period for a baby rhinoceros. So very soon the keepers hope to see Aisha give birth. The white rhino is actually a mistranslation from the Afrikaans of weit, which actually means wide mouth. A white rhino can run up to 35 miles an hour at full charge. You can imagine that having 5,000 pounds with a horn that size coming right at you would be quite a daunting thing to happen. The best avoidance from a charge from these guys is actually to stand still. They have very poor eyesight and they rely greatly on their hearing. You can see their ears are pointed directly at me and he's listening to every word I say. These white rhinos, despite their size, are exclusively herbivorous, which means they just feed on plants. The white rhino is actually a real conservation success story. Just 20 years ago, they were considered to be critically endangered because of those horns. They were highly desired by poachers. But now, because of breeding programs like this, they're on the comeback. One of the meanest animals here in the park is actually the zebra. Now, Terry was just telling me about the two different species that we see here. Mate, could you tell us how to tell the difference?
Sure. The ones we see in front of us, they have a gray stripe in between the black and white stripe. So we call those shadow stripes. And the one in the back there is pure black and white. He has no stripes in between. And he's a Grant zebra, the one with pure black and white, and they're East African, and these others are Damaras, and they are Southern African.
You were telling me about their actual bite.
Yeah, they even though they're equines, they don't bite like a horse. They bite and hold on.
Where they just nip you, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, these guys bite and hold on. They'll take a tennis ball-sized chunk out of you. So, yeah, you got to be careful. And they have a lethal kick. You do not mess with the hoofs of these guys.
You were telling me before that they could actually kill a lion with their kick.
Yes, they can break his jaw if he comes in from the back.
The stripes that you see on them are actually unique to each animal, and each animal can identify each other because of this fingerprint-like pattern. Now, they also use that for really camouflage, don't they, Terry?
Right. They can blend in all right, but they still are pretty outstanding. Yep. So they think that those stripes are optical illusions, that when they start to run, and they run every which way when the lion is coming, that the lion cannot pick out one from the other because the heads and tails are all different and these stripes are going in front of his eyes.
Sure, so it confuses the predator rather than actually hides them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even here we can see that they kind of, if you just look closely on just the one plane, they actually do kind of blend into each other as they move past.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's actually really cool.
One reason we put them up here, we would like them down where the giraffe are because they're such a showcase African animal, but again, they're one of the meanest animals we have.
Well, they might be a mean animal, but they are extraordinary. On to the next animal here at Safari West. The bird sanctuary here at Safari West is filled with all kinds of unusual species, but you don't have to go on safari to see some of these birds. Urban centres around the world are filled with unusual species that you just don't know are quite there. Nat Geo Wild's show, Wild Nights with Maria Mayer, explores these streets and the wildlife right under your nose. You're watching AT&T Uverse Buzz. Today we're previewing some of the great programming available through Nat Geo Wild as we take an African safari through the hills of California. Giraffes are usually a very shy animal, but here at Safari West we have Dozer. He's a very special animal, about 3 years old. He's actually very friendly and we're going to try to bring him over. Dozer. It's exceptionally rare to be able to get this close to a giraffe, and especially to be able to feed them. You notice their mouth is actually quite mobile, and they only have teeth on the lower jaw. You can see that Dozer has an extremely long neck, but they actually only have about 7 vertebrae in their neck, but each vertebrae can be up to 10 inches long. This contributes to the height of a giraffe. They can get up to 19 feet tall. Now, we know that giraffes like leaves, but I also have a theory that they like shiny things. So See if I can get a nice close shot of this tongue for you. Dozer has a prehensile tongue, which means he can wrap it around objects very easily. As you can see, he kind of likes my shiny camera. Now, that big, long tongue of his can get up to 18 inches long, and it's very rough. Luckily for me, they only have teeth on the lower jaw. While Dozer might look very playful, this is actually also a bit of the business end of the giraffe. You can see their horns up here, and they've got a very big head. They actually use that for aggressive movements, so I need to be very careful here so that while he's playing, he doesn't think that I'm trying to play with him too much. He might take a swing at me. But luckily for me, Dozer is a very friendly giraffe. Check it out. Very smooth on the bottom, very rough on the top, made for ripping leaves from the trees of the acacia. What he does, he takes the food with his tongue and he chews it with molars right down the back of his jaw. And it takes him a little while to swallow it and get it down his neck before he can take another mouthful. Now, John, what are we seeing here, man?
Well, we're seeing what's called necking, and it's a form of aggression between two males. Now, we've got Tefani on this side, the big Maasai, who's about 8 years old. We got Dozer, who's about 3.5. They'll swing those necks. They'll knock each other down.
So this old boy over here is probably jealous of not being near the girls.
Well, this is true.
Can it actually get dangerous as far as health-wise? Can they kill each other?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Generally, one guy beats the other guy up. You know, the beaten one takes off, leaves, that type of a thing. They are, by the way, the only animal that is born with horns. And when they're born, they're laying down like this.
Right.
And as they get older, they slowly do.
Over 60,000 people visit Safari West every year, including many families and students. Let's have a talk to them to see why they've made the trek out here to this special wildlife preserve. So, tell me why you guys are here today.
Justin is just turning 7, so it was really excited. We've never been to Safari West.
So it's your first time?
Yes, it's my birthday present. That's why we came here.
Really? Well, that's kind of cool.
I heard the good stories from my family when they had been here before.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see it myself.
Joining a group of people about to go out on safari. What animals are you guys excited to see?
Cheetahs.
You want to see a cheetah?
Cheetahs?
Yeah, there's a cheetah.
And we saw some cheetahs on the walking tour, and they were really close, maybe 3 feet apart, just next to the fence.
What's your favorite animal?
A giraffe.
A giraffe. Have you seen a giraffe yet? Mm-hmm. No? I heard that it kissed one of you. Got a giraffe kiss.
A rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
The zebras were pretty cool. They had a few small ones. The ostrich back there tried to eat her water bottle.
Birds.
Birds?
Big tortoise.
You saw a big tortoise? Wow, is that the biggest thing you saw? We're going to sign off here on Safari West and let you guys go have a good time. Part of the ongoing mission of both Nat Geo Wild and Safari West is to promote education and conservation. Nature's beauty needs to be conserved, and that's just what's happening here. Now sit back and enjoy 400 acres of exotic wildlife. Thanks for joining us on our tour of Safari West, highlighting the programming of Nat Geo Wild. You can watch Nat Geo Wild right here on AT&T Uverse, channel 266, which is part of your U200 package. Until next time, I'm Luke Tipple.